Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be doing a review on Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. And more specifically, this could be classified as a negative review. Some people would say it's a rant review. My dog. I just consider it maybe a bad review. I'm going to talk about what went wrong with my dog. I'm going to talk about what went wrong with this book for me, coming from a person who was enjoying it when I first started reading it. The purple tabs are the things tabbed for like issues that I found or just things that bothered me. I mean, there's a lot of purple tabs. But like I said, I was enjoying this book at first. I did not want to join the hype of hatred for this book, because if you haven't seen online, like, people have been trashing this book before it even came out, and I was really hoping it wouldn't be like that, because I did get this as an ARC from YALLFest. I met Adam Silvera. He's like really nice. I wanted to love this book. I have read What If It's Us, which he co-wrote with Becky Albertalli. Really loved that book, but I didn't really like They Both Die at the End, which is one of his solo books. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't living up to the hype for me. You know, it was overly hyped in my opinion. I didn't think it was that good. I didn't really connect with the characters, so I didn't really care that they both died at the end, you know? So I have a whole list. I freaking took notes on my computer. I don't do that. I don't think y'all know, because I haven't told you. I just like don't plan out my videos like that. If I need to make a list of books, I'll do that, but I don't go in depth. I kind of just turn on the camera and let it loose, like, you know, just figure out what I'm gonna say on the spot. But for this, I thought I needed to plan this out because I have quite a few things that I want to say. But I do have some good things to say about it, at least what I was enjoying when I was enjoying it. I haven't said this. I gave this book a 2.5 out of 5 stars. If you have watched my channel for a while, you know I really don't do that very often. I only had like 1 2-star read last year and nothing lower than that. So like I really don't rate books that low. I generally enjoy things that I read. But let's just go ahead and talk about the things that I did like about this book, because I'm not gonna hate on this book to the point where like I am ranting, like this is a rant review to the point where this is garbage and needs to be burned. It does not need to be burned. There is some messages in this book that he was trying to give people, and I'm sure it meant a lot to some people. I mean, I liked that, but it just wasn't executed as well as I would have liked. And this book isn't terrible. It's just not that great. It was disappointing, and it just ended up being annoying. So things that I like. First thing, when I first started reading this, I was immediately like really into the world. I thought it was quite interesting. If you don't know what this book is about, it's really hard to explain. Seriously, when you read like the little synopsis and stuff, you just don't get that much. But this is an urban fantasy world in New York City. And there's these things called celestials. They're pretty much having superpowers. They're pretty much superheroes. They try to act like they're not. But this book, honestly, is just a superhero book that has a lot of internet stuff inside of it. It's supposed to be fantasy and everything, but really it's just, it gives off the superhero vibe. I love how I'm supposed to be talking about like things that I liked, and like, I'm not really doing that yet, but like, it's not, there's not a problem with it being a superhero sort of vibe, but it wasn't supposed to be, I don't think. I feel like this cover and like everything like that was marketed about this book just wasn't equaling what we got, because yeah, there's magic and there's like fantasy, but really it was just like superhero-ishy. And if they like market it as that, I feel like it would have been better, because like people would have known that. The Celestials have their superpowers, and they try to protect New York City, as every superhero story tends to do. Our main characters, Emil and Brighton, they're twin brothers, and they know that when they turn 18, they could possibly grow into some superpowers that would make them a celestial, because sometimes it takes until their 18th birthday, and then suddenly they'll get magic, and it will be so great. And one of our characters, Brighton, really wants that. Dad! I'm filming! I'm filming! And Brighton really wants to be one of these celestials, And let's just say it's to an annoying point, but I'll get to that later. He has a huge internet following. I thought this was interesting. He is a YouTuber in an urban fantasy setting. That was just an interesting concept to me. Like, the thought of a YouTuber being in, like, a fantasy book. Like, how would that change things? And it did change things. I thought that was interesting to see that. But he's not, like, the best guy. Like, he's, like, one of the most stuck-up YouTubers you will find. I even wrote in my notes that, like, I think he is like a freaking Logan Paul or Jake Paul. Like, he gives off those vibes where he's just trying to, like, risk everybody's lives, even his own, to get the best, like, video shot or, like, just get some crazy thing. Like, he's where he just doesn't care about anything else other than making videos and getting more subscribers, and, like, it's all he lives for, to the point where he starts to get mad at his brother when his brother seems to be getting spotlight instead of him. And it's just, this is supposed to be good stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm in the things I liked section of the video. Another thing that I kind of enjoyed was towards the end of the book, there was this sort of, like, relationship with Emil and this other dude named Ness. But this is me being nice, it was very underdeveloped, but, like, I feel a something, like, I feel a sprig. So I feel like eventually, if he keeps going, maybe it could be cute. Because there was, like, one scene that I was like, oh man, but, like, then it got really uncomfortable. Because, okay, I have some lines just marked off. Like, this just, like, made me cringe, this line. So, pretty much, Emil, he's gay, by the way, was just talking about, like, how he's just not comfortable in his body and everything. And, like, I relate. Like, I feel like we all relate to that. But it's just the way this sentence was put. Like, he just met this dude, and he's like, I don't think I'll ever feel good about myself. I could have the six-pack and the V-cut, and people saying they want me, but I will never feel beautiful enough for anyone in the world. And I don't know, that just cringed me so hard. I get saying that to your really, like, relationship dude, you know, someone you've been in a relationship with, like, you're deep, but you just met this guy and you're, like, saying, like, I want a six-pack and a V-cut, and I'm just like, I don't know, I just thought that was so cringy. I also enjoyed that a big theme of this book was brotherhood, even though only one of the brothers seemed to really care about each other. But, like, I'm trying to be nice again. I'm trying to say something good before I go into the bad stuff. But I love, like, siblinghood and stuff like that. Like, I have a sibling. It's cute. Like, I love family. But Brighton was a bad brother. Like, Emil was way too good for him. But let's just go into the stuff I didn't like, even though I've been talking about it already, but, like, we want to get into it deeper. So pretty much after the first 100 pages of this book, the book fell apart for me. And I was honestly really into it. It was one of those books where I just, like, wanted to keep reading. I kept thinking about it. And then, like, once we got answers to who this group of superhero people were that Emil and Brighton, like, admired all their lives, once we, like, kind of met them and we actually realized that they're not actually that cool, like, they seemed like they were cool, but, like, nothing about them was that interesting, I realized, like, oh, that's not what I wanted to happen. This book fell apart for me at that point because I thought it was going to be more interesting than that. And once we actually met, like, the heroes of this story, they just weren't that interesting. Like, I would have rather had it been more vague for longer because I just didn't really enjoy actually getting to know them. It wasn't satisfying to get to know these weirdos. I wrote this in my notes. It's actually a superhero book with some lame-ass superheroes. Like, these superheroes are so lame. Like, and oh my god, please, Adam Silver, never watch this video. Like, I think you're a great person, but I'm a booktuber, so I want to rant. Another issue is none of the characters were particularly memorable. I didn't hate anyone, but, like, Brighton. I didn't hate Brighton. I thought he was interesting at first because he was a YouTuber in this weird fantasy setting. But as the book continued, he had no character development up until the very last line of the book. Like, the last sentence. He still had his moment of, like, I am still a bitch. So just making sure you remember. He's so obsessed with being famous and having powers and everything. And literally, if you don't mind spoilers, it's not really a spoiler. He just talks to his brother and he's like, better than living powerless. He would rather die than not have superpowers. And I was hoping he would have some character arc where like, whoa, he would realize like, dude, I don't need powers. That he doesn't need all these subscribers. He already has a lot of subscribers and it's really cool that he does. And that just reminds me of like when he had a YouTuber meetup and only 7 people showed up. Let me try to find this. I can't find it currently, but he had 7 people show up to his YouTuber meetup and he was like, nobody showed up. Like, he was looking at these people that showed up to meet him. He's like, nobody showed up. And Emil was like, dude, they showed up. Like, be thankful anybody showed up. He literally acted like they didn't exist because it was only 7 people. Like, he don't care about the individual. He wanted the numbers and being like, hey, I had like 10,000 people show up for a meetup. I'm so cool. No. Like, no. I expected to find dozens of Brightsiders waiting for me underneath the shade provided by Gunner's Salute, but I can only make out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people. No one showed, I say. That's 7 people. Like, you a loser. Like, they're right there. And his brother says, there are fans literally waving at you. And he's like, 7 people. Like, oh, I want to punch you in the face. Let's read this note that I had. Brighton is a terrible, selfish person. At first, I thought his perspective was unique and maybe meant to be unlikable. He's a stuck-up YouTuber who is never grateful for anything that he has. He cares more about his content and views more than the safety of his friends and family. He honestly reminds me of problematic YouTubers such as the Paul brothers. He also had no character development to make up for his shitty actions and dialogue. He literally stays the same even up to the very last line of the book. So there is gonna be minor spoilers as I read some of these quotes, just warning you, but honestly, I don't know how many of y'all are about to actually go read this book after my video. But seriously, it's not that bad. Just a little bit, you know, whatever. Whatever, just watch if you want. When he made a video that didn't get as many views as he wanted, but he like risked his life to film that video, almost freaking died pretty much, and his mom tells him like, you hurt my heart and you're upset over people not watching your video. She has heart problems, I think. Like, she had a heart attack in the book, so like, I think she got heart problems. He didn't even care that like she was so worried about him. He just was mad that his video didn't go viral, but it still got like hundreds of thousands of views. Another annoying line from the point of view of, I've been a YouTuber for a while, a booktuber, and I understand things. It's been almost 6 years. This line just still pissed me off though. It said, my phone is absolutely blowing up with media requests and follower growth. I love the high of notifications, but I had to finally turn them off. Shooting past 100,000 YouTube subscribers was the big dream. And now that I've crossed that line, I want more. I need more. I mean, I guess that is accurate. Like, so many YouTubers are like that. I feel that, like, whenever I hit a milestone, I'm like, okay, what can I do? But, like, you're still annoying. Then he goes, I may not be throwing fire, but I'm just as much as a hero as anyone else. Because he posts videos on YouTube? You're a hero? You just, like, think you're the best person ever. And, like, I can't with you. Like, you literally are a little bitch. Then someone asked him sometime in the book, how are you feeling? And he goes, undervalued. Do they not realize what I've done for them? And what was with Emil's garbage about running off to go edit my little video? He didn't call your videos little. He may as well have. I'm saving the world too. Like, oh my gosh. He literally thinks he's saving the world for like uploading some YouTube videos when, spoiler, his brother like is actually out there fighting for people. It sounds like he's just desperately trying to convince himself that he's doing shit. But he's not. Like, he's just being a selfish little boob. His friend tells him, talking about him and his brother. The friend's like, there's no reason to be jealous of him. Emil, like his brother. He's not enjoying this, but he's doing his best. You're both brilliant in your own ways, and you can't forget that. Then Brighton's like, oh, come on. There's nothing brilliant about lucking into powers and having your hand held every step of the way. I'm incredible at what I do because I've worked hard for years. Yeah, Brighton, you're just like a total badass. Like, really, like, so much respect for everything that you have accomplished in your life, which is pretty much just being a jackass. Naturally, there's a little bit of spoiler things in this video, but he pretty much edits videos of his brother doing his rescue task and stuff to show the public what he's been doing. He mostly just freaking offers to do that because he wants views and money, but so he's just thinking about how so many people are in love with his brother and he's super jealous about that. And he's like, it's hard rooting for Emil the same way, I can't lie. He's running around and throwing fire darts, and if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have all this glory. I could easily cut some of these clips of his finer moments, fewer Emil-related gifts to cross my timeline. Like, he literally thought about trying to make his brother not look good. So, like, he wouldn't get as much love. Like, maybe people like him because he's actually cool, and you're not. Here's another quote. This is the last one I'm gonna read about annoying Brighton. Like, I'm famous. I have purpose. I've proven time and time again that Emil might be the one with powers, but I'm still powerful. You would be powerful if you weren't such a freaking stuck-up little turd. Like, literally, you ruin everything that you could have possibly had in this book. Like, you aren't anything. Okay, so that's my Brighton rant. Also, there's just lots of flat characters that have no purpose other than just to aid the main characters, and they're just boring. Like, I don't know anything about them other than that's their name. And there was multiple characters that they would show up and I had no idea who they were and what their relation to anything was. That's not a good sign if I literally don't even know who that is. And I've been reading this book this whole time, paying attention, and I still don't know who the frick that bitch is. Here's another thing. My last point, really, is somehow this book feels both slow and fast-paced at the same time. I think a major problem with this book is how it's fast-paced in the sense of, like, character interactions and building up, like, who these people are. You don't get enough time with these people, I feel, to actually grow a connection with them and actually like them. There's just no way to do it. Like, it's too short, in my opinion. And my friend Brittany, this is funny because she was saying this is, like, the slowest book ever. But honestly, I think it should have been longer, but more quality. Like, if it was better done and had actual build-up of characters that, like, were enjoyable and you actually could, like, feel something for them a little bit more, it would have been better. Like, I really feel like by the end of this book, I know nothing about Emil and Brighton, really. Like, especially Emil, I really don't know anything about him. Like, what does he enjoy doing with his life? I got no idea. I just know he got thrown into this crazy world and just absolutely no idea anything about him. It feels slow because not really that much action points happen in the first 100 pages. But I was still intrigued because the world was, like, kind of interesting and I still didn't know fully what was going on yet. But then when I found out that it's just some lame-ass superheroes, I realized some things. No. No, we don't do that. Don't. Ooh, UPS, did I get a package? I love getting packages. Moosey! Another weird problem with this. Oh, I didn't get a package. It's my neighbor. The paragraphs were also super rushed, in my opinion. In one paragraph, we would be in a place, and literally a sentence later, we would be miles away from where we were just at, and we're already fighting somebody. Like, it literally jumped into action so quickly, and I just wish it slowed down a little bit so we could be like, yo, if you missed a sentence, you'll be okay. Because literally, if you missed a single line, it was like, whoa, you missed a whole chapter. Like, you don't know anything at this point. But truly, the big problem with this book is, in the end, you just don't really connect with the characters that much. They're just very lame-ass superhero-y, you know? And that's pretty much all I gotta say. Yeah, this might have been a whole freaking mess. I mean, it was a freaking mess. And I wish Adam Silvera well, Maybe I'll continue reading the series and see if it gets better. This is his first fantasy book, so, you know, I can see how this is a contemporary author trying to write fantasy. It very much felt that way. His style doesn't really match with that genre, in my opinion. I do read a lot of fantasy, so I don't know. It just didn't feel like a fantasy book, really. But I wish him the best, and I hope it gets better. I hope he never watches this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know how you felt about this. And if you've read this book, if you hated it, if you liked it, just let me know. Like this video, comment down below, have a good day, please subscribe, make sure to follow all my social medias which are linked down below, and go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should have already clicked, and goodbye.